I'm Tracy. I live outside of Boston with my husband and 3 daughters. I have thalassemia, and we adopted 3 daughters who also have thalassemia. Thalassemia is a genetic blood disorder that affects the red blood cells, and patients with thalassemia have less normal hemoglobin. So, not having enough hemoglobin can lead to profound anemia. Some patients have what I have, which is called beta thalassemia intermedia or non-transfusion dependent thalassemia. Some patients require transfusions, some patients do not. That's the category that I fall into. And then there's beta thalassemia major, and patients with beta thalassemia major require blood transfusions. All 3 of our daughters have beta thalassemia major. So my diagnosis happened by mistake. I was in the hospital when I was 5 years old with just a GI bug, and I had some routine blood work done in the hospital, and it showed that I was really anemic. And that's when the doctors went and tested me for thalassemia. And that's when we also found out that both of my parents were carriers of thalassemia. When I was young, I was anemic, and say my hemoglobin was maybe in the 8s or something like that. But as I got older and over time, my hemoglobin, every year would slowly drop and drop and drop. I would meet with the hematologist every year, and we would talk about, when do you start transfusions? So my argument was always, well, look at me. I'm working a busy job. I'm traveling. I'm married. I go to the gym. I don't feel like I have to start transfusions, or I felt like there was a choice. But then as I got older, I started to have more complications of being anemic for so long. So the decision was sort of made for me. When I was 40, I started with chronic transfusions. So I started getting 2 to 3 units of blood every 3 weeks. We adopted 3 daughters from China that all have thalassemia because we felt we could provide not only a loving home, but also medical care for them. Having thalassemia is sort of a family affair for us. The girls go for their transfusions together. I go on a separate day. At night, when it's time to take medicine, 2 of my daughters take pills, and they take them at the same time together, and they'll often remind each other it's time to take our pills. My oldest daughter and I both use the subcutaneous chelator, and we both do our medicine at the same time. She'll go and get out the infusion sets and the pumps for us and bring up our medicine, and we do our medicine together. So it's a pretty well-oiled machine. They're just like typical kids. Emmy does gymnastics. Rosie and Franny play basketball. They're athletic, they're active. You wouldn't know that they have thalassemia. To be honest, thalassemia has actually brought more to my life than it's taken away. It's like a lemons to lemonade story. So we've tried to turn it into something positive. We use our story to raise awareness about the importance of blood donations. My husband is a regular blood donor. The girls are incredible champions for not only our local hospital, but for the blood donor center here. I always say it doesn't define us, but it is undeniable that it's a big part of our lives. I think what I would want anybody to know about thalassemia is we're just like anyone else. We're typical people with families and jobs and activities and busy lives, and coming up with easier ways for me to be able to refill prescriptions using a text message, easier access to your chelator, having places that you can go to that offer other times for transfusions. Ways to make things easier for us is critical. So what would I tell somebody who's been recently diagnosed? I would say you are living in a great time to have thalassemia. And I really mean that, because there are so many thalassemia patients who are thriving and doing incredible things. As a family, we're all very involved with all of that. I'm Tracy, and I'm thriving with thalassemia.